Hello students. In this lecture video, I'll be discussing about endocrine glands and hormones as discussed in chapter 22, chemical coordination and integration. First of all, let us understand that there has been a coordination between the chemical as well as the neurological part of our brain together, which conducts all the functions in our life. So these functions generally, when we talk about endocrine glands, these lack ducts, so they are called as ductless glands, and they secrete certain compounds called as hormones. These hormones are not non-nutrient chemical compounds which basically are produced in trace amounts. Now, the endocrine glands release these, and together this system which controls the chemical coordination is human endocrine system. So the human endocrine system basically contains of glands and hormones, and these are located at different locations. In the brain, there is hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal glands. In the neck region, thyroid and parathyroid. Near heart, thymus. Then pancreas is considered not only endocrine but also exocrine gland. Above the kidneys, adrenal gland. And the gonads, that is ovary in females and testes in males, are also considered as endocrine glands. So in this lecture video, I'll be discussing about two endocrine glands, hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Let's get started with hypothalamus. This is the basal part of the forebrain. It is located here and it controls lot many body functions. Firstly, it contains neurosecretory cells which together are called as nuclei. These produce hormones and also regulate the synthesis of pituitary hormones. The type of hormones of hypothalamus are of two types: releasing hormones, which stimulate the secretion of pituitary hormones; inhibiting hormones, which inhibit the secretion of some hormones, like hypothalamic hormone GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates pituitary to release gonadotropins from these gonads. Then there is somatostatin, which is an inhibitory hormone which is released by hypothalamus, and it will inhibit the growth hormone which is produced from pituitary. Now these hormones or these hypothalamic neurons which are present in hypothalamus are connected with pituitary in two ways. Let us look at this diagram, it will be clear. This is hypothalamus, and the neurons contained in hypothalamus are regarded as hypothalamic neurons. There are two parts in pituitary gland. One is anterior side, another is posterior. So hypothalamic neurons, if they are directly connected with the pituitary part, this is the posterior pituitary, and with the anterior pituitary, it is connected with a portal circulatory system. The anterior pituitary is also called as adenohypophysis, and posterior is called as neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis generally can be divided into two regions, pars intermedia and pars distalis. In humans, generally no demarcation is there, it is together only. And posterior pituitary is called as pars nervosa. Now, point to be noted here is the type of hormones which are released. Anterior part, it secretes hormones. Pars intermedia secretes only one hormone, MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, which stimulates the synthesis of melanin pigment, that is melanocyte cell, which will release melanin. Next is the pars distalis. Majority of the hormones are released by this. GH, that is growth hormone, it stimulates the growth in the body. If more amount is secreted, it will lead to gigantism. If less amount is secreted, it will lead to dwarfism. Next, PRL or prolactin. It will initiate the growth of mammary gland and formation of milk. Then TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone, it will stimulate the thyroid gland hormones. ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. In the adrenal gland, it will stimulate the glucocorticoids. These are another type of hormones which we will study in adrenal gland. LH, luteinizing hormone, and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. In males and females, the role varies. In males, the LH stimulates release of androgens and helps in the formation of sperms. In females, it helps in ovulation and formation of Graafian follicles and later on corpus luteum. The whatever leftover part is the corpus luteum. Now coming to the posterior pituitary, point to be noted here is that the hormones are not released, not secreted by posterior pituitary. It is secreted by hypothalamic neurons by the hypothalamus, but it is stored by posterior pituitary and released in the bloodstream by posterior pituitary. These are of two types, oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin basically it stimulates the smooth muscles during the childbirth for the contraction and relaxation of muscles in uterus, and the milk ejection after the birth of the child. Then vasopressin, it acts on kidneys and it is also known as ADH or antidiuretic hormone because it reduces the loss of water, and loss of water is called as diuresis. So it is acting against that, so it is called as ADH.